what was your quote last week? Was it something like clean sweep? In the famous words of Dorian Rose, clean sweep, baby. Clean sweep.
It was 2-0.
Flawless
So that's not really a clean
victory.
sweep.
Flawless victory, baby. 2-0.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen, you have Dorian Rose. How you doing today, man? As he's guzzling the water down. We are never going to get this started.
Man, we keep messing up. I can't stop laughing now. Man, we might.
It's
man,
good, man.
Yeah, okay.
Just rock with it.
Okay, I'm good. I promise. Okay, I'm doing good. Shit, dude, we're having a hell of a time. No, but super fun fights this past weekend, and dude, we were kind of talking about it the other day with the cards coming up the next 2 weekends. For these to be TV cards, these are quality pay-per-view fights, man. So I'm actually pretty excited about the fights coming up. So been good, and man, there's a lot of fight news to talk about, man.
Indeed. So let me give you guys a quick rundown of today's show just before we get started. First topic on today's show, we got a lot of new viewers, so we figured it would only be right to tell you guys our favorite fighters in each of the UFC weight classes. All the women's, all the men's, we're going to tell you all of them here today. Next topic on today's show, we're going to talk about this past weekend's fights. It is Wednesday, so we're not going to spend too much time on the topic, but Dorian's got to hand something over this week because it was a clean sweep. Next topic of today's show, news and upcoming fights. Actually, quite a bit happening this off week as far as news, fight announcements, things like that. And lastly, we will cover and make our picks for this upcoming weekend's fights, Josh Emmett versus Calvin Kattar. So before we get started, if you guys wouldn't mind, please put a thumbs up on the video. If you do enjoy it, comment down below. Let us know how we're doing over here. And once again, if you aren't subscribed to the channel now, come on now, help us out. We are just trying to grow over here. So with that being said, anything before we get started, man?
No, man. Just hopefully we can hold it together going through.
All right, man. Let's get into it. We're gonna start with our favorite fighters, dude. I'm gonna let you go first, man. Which weight class do you want to start at, and just give me like your favorite fighter from there?
I'd say let's start at heavyweight. I just think, I don't know, I guess it's just a cleaner. We can kind of go from heavyweight on down if you want to do it like that. And just a fan favorite for everybody. But he's been my guy for a long time. Is obviously Derek Lewis. Swinging and banging. Just his style. He's always going to go out there with that big lunchbox and try to take your head off, and then he's always going to be super entertaining with the post fight interview if he ends up getting the win. So he's the full package. And I remember introducing him to my wife. I remember the first fight she actually watched to him was Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. So she wasn't too impressed, obviously, after that fight. And then the very next fight was the Alexander Volkov versus Derek Lewis fight. And I remember 14 minutes and 30 seconds in that fight, I'm like, man, this has really been a bad series of fights that I've managed to show her of one of my favorite fighters. And then there with 10 seconds left, he was able to pull that last minute win out, and she was able to see in the post fight interview why he's my favorite fighter at heavyweight. And he's probably definitely one of my favorite fighters overall, but definitely Derek Lewis for heavyweight for me.
You kind of stole mine there, but for every weight class, I did have a close second, if you will. We are all Derek Lewis fans over here on the Golden Octagon. That is for damn sure. But that being said, I'm going to go with Alexander Romanov, dude. Like the dude has looked nothing but impressive so far. Just completely destroying everyone aside from, I believe it was his first fight against maybe like Juan Espino, where that one went to like some kind of like weird like decision halfway through the fight off of like a nut shot. Aside from that one, dude,
Yeah.
Alexander fucking Romanov is on a complete tear, and I do believe he should be watched out for in the heavyweight division. Like everyone's always on Tom Aspinall, and don't get me wrong, Tom Aspinall is fantastic. He's great, but you guys have to watch out for Alexander Romanov because Alexander Romanov is just a bigger man overall. He just has more mass to him, and he keeps weighing in lighter and lighter, and he's still massive. So that's just I guess one of my top favorites, aside from Derek Lewis, in the heavyweight division to watch is Alexander Romanov.
Man, so that's actually a pretty interesting pick. I wasn't even thinking about him as far as one of the favorite fighters. And I just wanted to ask just real quick, do you think, guys kind of like his style? Maybe they don't have the same exact style, but it seems like in heavyweight, wrestlers always get topped out within the top of that division. Look at Curtis Blades, he's one of the best wrestlers in the sport, but it seems like every time he gets in one of those top echelon fights, which obviously he's lost to Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis. So those are no bad losses, but it seems like he sort of tops out at the top end of the division. I just wanted to see what you thought about Romanov matching up in the top of that division.
I think with his if you want to say like the finishing ability like that he has, I don't think it's going to be a problem because the dude seems to have a chin. He's a big guy just overall, and he just kind of seems to overwhelm certain people. Like the dude has like a forearm choke in the first round against a Brazilian dude. Those dudes have like jujitsu in their mitochondria, dude. Like it's in there deep. So I mean, he choked him out with the forearm choke, and that's some shit that you don't ever see, dude. And he's a problem for the entire like division, if you ask me. Sadly, on the other hand, Derek Lewis just hasn't looked too good soon recently, and it's just like I hate to see it because I just love watching the dude fight, but it just kind of seems like just his like run kind of might be coming to an end here soon, dude.
Yeah, him being 36 now, I mean, he's fought for the title a couple of times now. I don't imagine him fighting for the title too many more times, but just as far as his style, he's always going to be a fan favorite. And then his post-fight interview, he's always going to be must-watch TV anytime he fights. I don't need him to fight for a title in order to be entertaining for me.
Fair enough. That being said, let's go down to light heavyweight. You know what I'm going to say here? I'm going to say Yuri. And you know why? You can just look at him. The dude isn't. How can you not like Yuri Prochazka? I've said this since his first fight in the UFC. I'm like, this guy is my new favorite guy at light heavyweight division. But he's the champion now. So that being said, I'm going to give you guys a alternate pick. I'm going to go with Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill. The dude's just entertaining to watch. I enjoy it. Hopefully that wasn't your pick, Dorian.
That was actually my pick.
Really, Jamal Hill was your pick?
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah. No. Well, I got another guy too as a backup.
So that being said, I didn't say why. You explained why Jamal Hill is your favorite in the division, because Yuri's obviously mine, but I like the division's not too deep, let's be honest, but you're obviously going to go Lionheart after that. So let's go ahead and tell people why those two are your favorites in the division.
Right. Yeah. Definitely Lionheart. That's my guy. Okay. We kind of do know each other better than we thought we did. But yeah, Jamal Hill, I'm surprised to surprise you, man. I've watched him kind of since the Contender series, and I remember I just liked his attitude. He's got this mean streak to him. I remember when he ended up he just put the combination on the dude. I can't remember the guy that he fought in the Contender series, but he just put kind of similar to a combination they did to OSP, and I just remember the ref pulled him off, and he just kind of made this face like he's like, he's like, I'm a problem. And it was just I love his energy. He also has really actually funny interviews. If you've ever actually heard any of his interviews with like Ariel Helwani or any of those guys, he's a really funny guy. Dude's got really good energy. He's got a mean streak to him when he gets in the octagon. And dude, when he knocked out Johnny Walker, when he put him out, and not even the initial punch to put him out, because obviously that was when he made him look like a mannequin. But dude, that he was so surgical with that follow-up punch to make sure that follow-up punch landed right on his chin, dude. He just got this nastiness to him when he fights. And he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's young, and he's still kind of up and coming in the division. He's got a matchup with Thiago Santos soon. So, I mean, if he ends up getting through Thiago Santos, maybe he's 1 or 2 fights away from the title as well. So, yeah, definitely Jamal Hill and Anthony Smith. Those are definitely my 2. But if I had to pick one, definitely Jamal Hill.
Sweet Dreams, a good Instagram follow as well for those of you who don't follow Jamal Hill on Instagram. Pretty funny guy, as Doran said. That being said, man, I'm gonna let you tell people why Izzy is your favorite at middleweight, man.
Yeah. Obviously, Izzy's my favorite on the old setup that I had the old Izzy poster in the background. I actually had watched him ever since his UFC debut when he fought against Marvin Wilkinson, and I still remember after that fight, he absolutely put a beating on the dude, and the guy went for, I believe it was like 23, 24 takedowns, and I think he landed like 2. And he never held Izzy down for longer than like 30 seconds the whole fight. And to see the way he was so crisp with his striking, I was like, man, this dude, he's definitely going to be something. And then his post-fight interview with John Anik, when he did the, this is the new dog in the yard, when he did the little piss thing, act like he was pissing in the octagon. When I seen that interview, I was like, man, he's got this good energy to him. And even in the Marvin Vettori fight, in the first fight that he had against him, against Israel, that was actually a close fight. I know it went to split decision. It shouldn't have been a split decision, but there were a couple of times in that fight where I remember Izzy just looked like he was in the Matrix, dude. Like Marvin went to throw a head kick, and Izzy literally looked like Keanu Reeves leaning back, avoiding the head kick, and then coming up and catching him with an elbow off the dodge. So his striking is just so potent, so clean. His swag, he's just got a swagger to him, but it's an authentic swagger. Like, it's not like he's trying to do this thing where he's this big role model. He's just authentically him, and I think that's just what makes me a big fan of him the most.
All right, so there's 2 that I want to throw at you, and it just seems odd because I guess I like the rankings that I just now looked at. I like the worldwide rankings, but I want to throw 2 at you, and I'm going to get like your opinion on each of them. And I just want to, and then I will, I guess, explain why I personally like these guys. 1, Andre Muniz. 2, Nasruddin Imavov. Dude, these 2 dudes fairly new to the UFC, but both lethal finishers, dude, with 2 separate ways. Imavov, a French striker, if you will, but fights just like Cyril Gahn, dude, and he will put it on people. One that I am just interested to see where to go in the division. And 2, Andre Muniz is a lethal submission artist, dude. All of you seen him do is sub dudes with this crazy arm bar falling off the side over and over, and I want to see how many times it can happen. Like before, he's just like, who can stop this animal at 185 now? Yeah. What do you think about my 2 picks?
Yeah, Nasruddin Imavov, he's definitely an interesting pick, just because I think I know he trains with Cyril, is that right? Him and Cyril train together, but honestly, he's a more aggressive Cyril Gahn, because sometimes I think that Cyril's problem is that he gets a little complacent, whereas Nasruddin, he seems to put a little bit more of his pep in his step in terms of going after it. So he's definitely an interesting pick as far as coming up the middleweight division. And for Andre Muniz, man, for anybody who can get into a jiu-jitsu battle with Jacare Souza and break his arm, dude, you got my full on respect, dude. And for him, Jacare, he was not going to tap. He knew what he was getting into in that fight, and he absolutely broke his arm. And the ref seen it, stopped the fight, or Jacare probably would have kept trying to fight. But yeah, for Andre Muniz, he's super interesting as well with his lethal arm bars, man. So those are definitely some 2 interesting picks.
for sure. 170 is a tough one for me because I like a lot of people at 170, but I'm not going to let you steal this weekend's fighter away from me. I've got to go Trailblazer, dude. Aside from Khamzat, which I kind of feel like is off limits. Khamzat's just off limits. Everyone loves Khamzat. I got to go Kevin Holland, man. I love me some Kevin Holland. He fights this weekend. I'm going to be going for the Trailblazer. Can't wait for this shit, man. Can't wait.
Whoa, hold on. So the Trailblazer over Michelle?
Yeah, for sure. I would for
What?
sure
I didn't
go Kevin
what?
Holland over Michelle Pereira, dude.
Oh,
For
wow.
sure.
Okay, yeah.
Now, just
see, I didn't.
in all-out excitement to watch, I put like Michelle up there, like top 3 to 5, because you don't know what he's gonna do. But as far as my favorite, like who I'm always gonna root for, no matter what, Kevin Holland, like at 170, he is for sure above Michelle Pereira.
Damn. Okay, I knew you liked Kevin Holland, but I didn't know. I knew
Yeah.
Michelle Pereira was your boy, so I figured, I figured he wouldn't go Hamzat because Hamzat's a little too on the nose. But yeah, I figured, Michelle Pereira, that would have been a pretty easy layup for you there. But I think you're probably going to know the guy that I'm going with. He's still kind of like an under the radar guy. Vicente Luque, man, that dude. The only boring fight he's ever been in is Bilal Muhammad, and that's because Bilal Muhammad will do everything in God's will to make a fight boring. Other than that dude, he's all action all the time, and every fight I've ever seen him in, besides the last Bilal Muhammad fight, has been nothing but fireworks. He goes out there on his shield. I mean, for him to, I think that Brian Barberena fight, I've told you, that's one of my top 5 fights of all time. I mean, that fight, both of those guys just bit down and absolutely went for it. And if I could say maybe a runner up in the division, maybe Brian Barberena, because he's another guy who's all action all the time. Dude, I'm telling you, he got a fight with Robbie Lawler coming up on the UFC 276 card. That fight's going to be a banger just because Brian Barberena is involved in it. But Vicente Luque and all of it, he's had good finishes over Randy Brown. Bilal Muhammad back in the day. He had a good fight with Stephen Thompson. He's just vicious, and he's such a nice guy as well. But man, his fight style, he's all action all the time.
Fair enough. So good picks. I feel like I knew Vicente Luque was your pick, but I didn't know like if you were gonna like kind of like fucking change it up on me there. Like I was like is he gonna try to change it up and not go Vicente Luque? But I almost feel like it's a solid pick because he's still like under the radar enough to where like not a lot of people know about the silent assassin, man. Like,
yeah,
people need to watch out. One guy that I don't feel like fucking gets enough shine, just real quick, up at 185. He's always saying how no one appreciates what he's done and all this. He's been talking all week about it. I just want to give it a shout out to Joaquin Buckley, man. We know that you have the greatest knockout of all time, dude. We appreciate your fight skills, dude. I enjoy you as a fighter. He just seems so upset, man, that people don't want to give him, I guess, shine for what he's done. But it almost it kind of seems like fucking UFC is just throwing him to the wolves this weekend. But we'll get into it. But 155, man, you know who I'm going to pick, or at least hopefully you know who I'm going to pick. I've been telling you since before the Bobby Green fight that this guy was the future of the division. I'm gonna let you go first, though.
I think I know who you're going to go, and there's a number of guys that you can go with within the division. Tony Ferguson was always one of those guys. He still might be my favorite, but I mean he's a little too on the nose. Michael Chandler, I've been a big fan of him since his Bellator days. I told you coming in from Bellator that he was going to be a problem for the top 5. Whether he'd win the title or not, I don't know. but he's going to be a problem. But I feel like he's a little bit too on the nose. But man, one of the guys, I always play with him on UFC, and but he's also a very good fighter, entertaining, is Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is one of those guys. Very, very often and very fun fights. I know that Tony Ferguson's performance wasn't the best, but I know he was just trying to get a win, secure his spot within the top of the division and secure his win streak as well. He didn't want to get caught in a brawl with Tony Ferguson because, let's face it, you get caught in a brawl with Tony Ferguson. You seen what happened to Michael Chandler in the first round. Bad things can happen eventually if you play with fire. But Beneil Dariush is also a guy, just amazing finishes. I still remember back in the day when him and James Vick fought, and he gave James Vick his first loss, and he absolutely crumpled him like just like a building collapsing. Like it was so crazy. He hit him with that overhand left hook, similar to the way he hit Jakar Close with. So I would have to say, if anybody, probably Beneil Dariush.
All right, man. Tell the people who I'm going.
Fiziev.
Indeed, man. Rafael Fiziev, for sure, dude. If you don't know Rafael Fiziev, man, please watch the Renato Moicano versus Rafael Fiziev fight. This fight made me such a fan of Rafael Fiziev, dude. He absolutely crushed Renato Moicano, dude. I don't know why he thought it was the best idea on earth to just stand with him. He like it's almost like he was like, nah, forget my jiu-jitsu, what I'm good at. Let me stand with this lethal Rafael Fiziev, dude. And it was so bad, dude. That fight made me a huge fan of Fiziev, dude. Yeah, off the top of my head, just everyone else is just too well known. Yeah. You want to go down to 145, or you kind of look like you're saying something else?
No, I was
saying something else.
No. I'm actually just looking at that's what I was getting ready to say. Just 155. It's kind of like the glamour division of the sport. So if you're in like the top 10. You're kind of, one of those well-known guys anyway, just because where so many guys that are well-known are in that division, just because the division's all action all the time, just about. So, Poirier is one of my favorite fighters as well. I order his hot sauce all the time. I go back and, I could watch just a numerous amount of his fights. So any of those guys, you can't really go wrong with.
You can't leave out Bobby King Green, man. I know you're always...
Oh yeah, that's my guy,
Bobby King.
That's my guy, man. Win, lose, or draw, he's mostly gonna be in a fun fight. So yeah, he was definitely one of those guys I was considering too. But Beneil Dariush, yeah, he's definitely one of those guys.
Fair enough. So we'll move down to 145. I feel like the correct pick here should be Brian Ortega for me. But I almost feel like he's at the top of the division. It's like not, but is he known that much? I don't know. That being said, I'm going Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty. They both have kind of a similar style. They both want to get you down. They both want to make you give up. They both want to cook you to the bone, in the words of Bryce Mitchell, dude. I'm going Thug Nasty. The dude is such a character, so entertaining. He's so funny, dude. The dude lives like on a farm in a trailer and just wants to grow his fruits and his vegetables and then go fight, dude. It's the funny. It's
and he trains in his yard.
I think that's why I love fucking Yuri so much. It's like parts of every fighter. It's like Bryce Mitchell, Tony Ferguson, Charles Oliveira. Like, hit me, I don't care. like it's just dude, all of my favorite fighters just put together. Yeah. That being said, man, I'm going Thug Nasty, but my number one obvious up there pick is Brian T City Ortega. I love me some T City. All right, man. Who's your favorite fighter at 145?
Man, okay, so I want to go like two ways with this because one of the guys aren't ranked, so I want to go with like an under the radar guy. So I'll be quick, but under the radar guy, and then I'll go with like my favorite fighter. Under the radar guy, I think I mean, once I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah. Charles Jourdain, that's another guy who, man, ever since his UFC debut, I believe he fought against Doo Ho Choi, and Doo Ho Choi is always a guy who's always in action fights. Just look at the fight with Cub Swanson. And when Charles Jourdain came in, he actually knocked Doo Ho Choi out clean, and it was a super clean counterpunch that he landed against him. And ever since then, I've been a big fan of him. He's always in all action fights. He's never stopping. As far as he's always got his foot on the gas. And look at that submission he had against Lando Venata in his last fight. So he's only getting better. And I think probably my favorite fighter, as I'm looking through the division, I was actually a little bit surprised, but I do. Probably Josh Emmett, man. I think Josh Emmett, that dude, that dude can thud. And the way that he put out Michael Johnson, I mean, we know that Justin Gaethje had finished him, but up to that point, no one had knocked out Michael Johnson. And for Josh Emmett to land that clean overhand right and just put him to sleep, dude, his hooks are just something. Just you cannot stand in there for a minute. And I know we'll talk about him a little bit more this coming up weekend, but yeah, if you go back and look at some of the highlights he's put on with his knockouts, he's got some brutal knockouts. So I would have to say probably Josh Emmett.
Good pick. Maybe a little insight into one of your picks this weekend. I guess we'll find out. Find out later on the show. That being said, let's move on down to 135. Mine's an apparent one, man. If you watch this show, you know who my favorite fighter is at 135. And if you don't know, let me give you a quick little hint right here. Mr. Sugar Sean O'Malley, dude. It's spoken for itself over the multiple episodes. I am a Sean O'Malley fan. Shout out the Sugar Show. And if you don't know, just go watch literally any of his fights. Actually, don't watch that Cheetah Vera fight. Not the best fight, but, any of his other ones. Go watch that one. Who's your favorite fighter at 135, man?
Yeah, I think you'll probably know this one too. And looking through, I think, you could look at the top of the division. I think some of the guys, I think one of them, I would say the runner up right now is Song Yadong, because he's another guy I've always glamored about. He, for 135, he's the hardest hitting 135er I've seen, because he can put dudes out with one punch. And I haven't seen 135ers be able to do that. But number one, he's fighting this weekend as well, funny enough, Adrian Yanez, man. Coming in from the Contender Series, dude. They call him Mini Masvidal, but dude, he really does actually look like Masvidal, but his boxing is just so pure. His combos are just so lethal. And just watching him in his Contender Series knockout, just the way he lands the left hook, and then the guy doesn't exactly fall. He kind of buckles, and Yana just kind of slowly walks up to him and just puts a nasty, just about 3-4 piece combo on him and makes him fold again, and then the ref stops the fight. So he's just full of smooth boxing combinations, and he's definitely my favorite at 135.
Are we going to have the same 125er, man?
Go for it. We'll see.
The one, the only, Raw Dog, Brandon Royval. If you don't like Brandon Royval at 125, what are you doing? He is the most exciting fighter at 125, hands down. There are some new guys that may show something in the next few fights, but for me right now, it's got to be Raw Dog, Brandon Royval, dude. The dude is always live to throw something spinning at you and then sub you once he knocks you down with that spinning whatever he threw at you.
No, the funny thing about him is that he's likely to sub you after you knock him down. So yeah, he'll get knocked down and then he'll end up submitting the guy. So yeah, that's how much action he is all the time. But yeah, he's definitely one of those guys. I would say probably right now, and I know he's fighting. I know he's fighting soon, but probably Kai. Kai's really came on here as of late, and he's really starting to live up to the name. I think since that Bontarine fight, he was able to get that knockout, and I think he's able to gain a lot of momentum and confidence from that fight to be able to scathe off the wrestling and then able to get back up and then still knock the guy out. And then his last fight against Askar, he showed that he's the real deal. So definitely Raw Dog is definitely one of those guys for me. But yeah, definitely Kai. Kai is definitely one of those for me.
So that's the men. That's the men. Maybe not exactly, but that's just like off the top, just real quick. We're only going to do 3 of these because there's no women's 145 division. So we're going to do women's 135, 25, and 115. We're not really going to jump into too much as to why because, there's not really too much to say most of the time. Mine's going to be literally the exact same for 2 of them as to why. But 135, man. Who's your favorite fighter at 135? Or do you want me to go first here? Do you need time to think still?
You go first.
All right, my favorite at 135 is Irene Aldana. She's so clean of a boxer at 135, dude. I told you this the first time that I saw her. I was like, dude, she's going to be a fucking problem. And you're like, is she really? And I'm like, watch her fight fucking Yana. And dude, she put Yana's lights fucking out. I don't remember if like that was the actual like the fight that I told you to watch, but like it was like one like around that time, dude. I'm like, she's for sure going to be a problem after Amanda leaves because like at that time, like Amanda was just crushing everybody. But Irene Aldana is for sure my favorite at 135.
I think after looking through it, man, 135 has really been a wasteland for a little bit. It's kind of crazy to think about. But actually looking through, probably Rocky. I had to say Rocky Pennington. She's one of those. She doesn't have the most set of skills, but she's super fucking tough, and she's such a grinder. She's a dog. Her last fight against Aspen Ladd was arguably fight of the night. I mean, they were just throwing hooks for days. She's got a hell of a chin. She's got pretty decent boxing, good wrestling. She's kind of just well-rounded overall, and she started to come along as of late as well. I think she's put together about a 4-fight win streak. I think something to that effect. She's on like a 3-4 fight win streak herself, so she's looked good as of late, and I just love the mentality that she fights with. So probably Rocky.
Good pick, man. Good pick. A vet, still one of the OGs, still doing it to this day, dude. I honestly don't know how much time she has left, but Rocky's still doing the damn thing, dude. 125, man. Do you want me to go or you want to
go? You lead with this one. I'm between 2.
All right, fair enough. 125, dude. It's like you know me. Like I'm a Vivi fan, but me right here, I gotta go Alexa Grasso. It was going to be between one of those 2, and I feel like you personally knew that it's between Viviane Araújo and Alexa Grasso. I am a huge fan of both fighters. I enjoy watching both so much. I'm just gonna start with Viviane Araújo. She comes to kill. She's usually got about a round and a half in her, but if she can clip you good in that round and a half, you're a goner. You're done for. She is powerful. She is strong, fun to watch. On the other hand, Alexa Grasso, becoming one of the most technical fighters in 125 and just improving every single time I see her. She just now subbed JoJo recently, dude. She's got subs on her record now. She's got lethal boxing, just showing that she is one to watch out for in the 125 division. And just the way like the division is working now, dude, it's like she could be fighting for the title within the 1 or 2 fights because she's right there. Talia Santos beat JoJo, fights for a title. Alexa Grasso just beat JoJo, no fight announced yet. It's going to be either like Kaylin like Chookagian or the title next. That's the only 2 options. I hope it's title because I don't like anyone fighting Kaylin Chookagian because she just outclasses them, man. Choo, right?
and for me, it came down to 2, and it came down between the Choo and probably Macy Barber, but I do think probably Macy Barber. Yeah, I think Macy Barber does edge her out for me. I love, she just has a meanness to her as well. She's always been one that I love the confidence in herself. Now she has had some setbacks as far as the losses that she's had and stuff like that, but I do think she's starting to put it together a little bit more. And she took a fight on short notice here recently. Can't remember exactly who she ended up taking the but she's got a fight coming up. She's got a good mentality as far as wanting to stay active. It is against Jessica Eye. That's right. That's right. Yeah, because I remember she took that on short notice right after her last fight. So, yeah, she's one of those fighters for me in the 125 division. She has just mean mentality, and she's going in there for the finish every time she goes out there. So I love her mentality. Every single time in the third round here lately, she puts the foot to the gas, and I mean, she absolutely lays it on chicks. So she's definitely fun to watch. I'd probably say Macy Barber.
Honorable mention for me, for sure, well over Macy Barber. Tracy Cortez, man. Tracy Cortez is a solid fighter at 125, dude. I believe she's a 125. Please don't tell me
she
I'm
is
wrong. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I don't think she's a 115. I'm pretty sure she's a 125. Another solid fighter at 125, Tracy Cortez. Shout out Tracy Cortez. 115, man. I feel like I only got one way to go here. You know who it's going to be for me. She's up the top now, I believe, ranked number 3 or 4 at this point. Mackenzie Dern, dude. How could I not go Mackenzie Dern? Every single time she's fighting, dude. Am I going for? You know I'm going for Dern every single time she's fighting, and I'm betting Dern by sub every single time she's fighting, whether she gets that shit or not. I'm putting money on it because she's so good on the ground, dude. If it gets to the ground, there's an 80% chance that you're tapping before you get back up. There's been a few fights recently, like where she's gotten, I guess, stalled out, but still looked fantastic. Overall, dude, just now beat Tisha Torres, and the only ones that have like been able to do that in the past were, I guess, champions. That being said, man, that is why Mackenzie Dern is my favorite at 115. Tell me why, or tell me who your favorite is at 115.
I'll go with one under the radar. Lemos is probably my runner up just because I love her mentality as well. She cracks like some dudes do at 135. Like she hits so freaking hard. But I would have to say probably after looking through the division, probably the chick who just beat her last, probably Jessica Andrade. And it's crazy enough, man, dude, she's so tough. Dude, she's ranked number 6 in the strawweight division, and she's ranked number 4 in the flyweight division. So it just goes to show how active she is in both divisions, and she's taking a fight against Manon Fiorot coming up. I believe what was it in August that we were talking about. So I know we'll probably talk about that a little bit, but just her, she's always one of those, stay ready all the time. She's fought at 135, 125, 115, been successful in all 3 weight classes. So if anybody, probably just to pay the respect to her, definitely Jessica Andrade.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And also, don't you forget her. We talk about her all the time. The heart of a lion, the lion heart, if you will, at women's 115. They're definitely friends on the broadcast show. We got Angie Overkill Hill. Do not forget about Angie Overkill Hill. She is a fan favorite. And if you don't give Angie credit, you are not a UFC fan. She always gives it her all, no matter what, dude.
Dude, yeah, Angie Overkill, yeah, she's definitely one of my favorites too. And on UFC 4, I love playing with her as well. So she's pretty nasty on there.
So that being said, that was a long ass segment. We're going to move on down to just real quick this past weekend's fights, and I'll let Dorian tell the people how right I was from this past weekend. Man, go ahead.
No, I'm drawing a fog. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to.
Well, let me help you out just a little bit, man. It looks like something like this right here. This is the and new pick champ of the week, baby. Clean sweep. So much so we picked 3 fights this past weekend. 3 fights from the card this past weekend. We picked against on the main event, Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira. We picked on Manel Cape versus Rogerio Bontorin, and we did pick on Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Dorian picked all 3 losers, and when I say all 3 losers, yes, all 3 losers. Rogerio Bontorin could not even make it to the scale. He went to the hospital, did not even finish cutting weight. So he lost that one. Yuri Prochazka gets the sub in round 5 over Glover Teixeira. And Zhang Wei Li hits Joanna Jędrzejczyk with, I believe, the first spinning back fist knockout in women's history. That is what I saw. I don't know if that includes elbow. That can't include elbows or anything like that because it just recently happened. But that being said,
Meatball Molly.
I am this week's new pick champ of the week. And what was your quote last week? Was it something like clean sweep? In the famous words of Dorian Rose, clean sweep, baby.
It was 2-0. So that's not really a clean sweep.
Flawless victory, baby. 2-0. Flawless victory.
I love how last week you forgot, but suddenly this week is just fresh on your mind. So I love how that works out.
Hey, last week I was fucking traveling for those like 3 or 4 days straight in a row. I had an excuse last week. This week it's fresh.
Nah, you would have remembered. You remember last week had it went the other way, but conveniently not remember last week, but remembering this week. I see how it is.
Fair enough, man. That being said, let's just talk about it real quick. Man, did anyone think that Glover Teixeira was going to submit to Yuri Prochazka for the first time in his career, submit in round 5 in a championship fight to Yuri Prochazka, man? Give me your thoughts and give me your opinions on what happened here.
Man, I think, which I know, we made our picks and I picked Glover. And honestly, going into that 5th round, I felt pretty good about picking Glover because I thought he was up 3 rounds to 1. And I actually thought that he was on his way to win that 5th round. But Yuri just showed the heart of a champion. And, just the momentum swings back and forth in that fight is what made that fight so entertaining, just with the grappling sequences. And then it would go down to the striking, and then Yuri would flip him over, and then Glover would get back up and then catch him with a big hook. And there in that 5th round, I thought Glover was going to be able to get him out of there when he landed that big right hook on him. But then when he went to go for the submission and he jumped the guillotine, I know everybody probably had the same reaction with their hands on their head, like, what are you doing? But just the exhaustion of both the guys. But, man, they both showed just hearts of a champion. And for Yuri to stand in there the way he did and knowing 30 seconds left, I got to get a finish to win this fight, and he ended up getting it, just shows that he has a true heart of a champion, and he's deserving of the title, beating Glover the way he did.
Dude, it was such a great fight. Like, I couldn't have asked for anything else. Like, aside from John Jones versus Gus 1, dude, that's the only other fight that comes to mind, like, in fucking light heavyweight that I can just look back to and like, that's probably the greatest light heavyweight fight I've ever seen, dude. Just the momentum of just back and forth over and over. And as you were saying, I do think like that Glover was up in the fight. I don't know if I had it 3-1. I think I maybe have had it tied going into the 4th. But I do think I like that Glover was winning that fucking 5th round. Therefore, he was going to win like the championship. But as you said, man, Yuri pulling it out of nowhere. I think the one thing that just made the difference, dude, was the youth. There's over 10 years fucking difference at this point. Yeah. There's like 12 years fucking difference, dude. It's like, just the youth, man. I know fucking Glover's tough and he can take damage, dude, but when it comes down to it, dude, when you get older, you just don't have the gas tank, the drive, the explosivity that you used to have, in your 20s and your early 30s, dude, because Glover's up there, man. One other takeaway that I had from the fight that really threw me off, 2 more actually. One's kind of funny, but the other one's actually serious. I don't like in the fight, like when it first fucking started, I'm like, round 1, I was like, where's Yuri at? Like, it's almost like he's not, he didn't put the pressure on like right away, like he like always does. Round two's when he kind of started out coming out, charging the chakra, doing his little thing. But round one, it was almost like he just kind of wanted to fill out, see like how everything like was going to work out. Round two's when I actually noticed, oh, there's the Yuri. Another thing is his antenna, dude. It was flaccid, and I'm not a fan of flaccid antenna Yuri. That is no bueno, my friend. Next time you fight, I want to see that sucker erect as can be, man. You need to get all the ideas that you can. I do not want to see a flaccid antenna Yuri in the octagon again. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. But a hell of a fight. I don't think they're going to run it back. I think it was a clean turnover, man. Glover's old. I think this was the best that Glover's going to do against Yuri. Dude, fucking Yuri's only getting better. After the fight, actually fucking said it to you last night, how we were playing PlayStation. After the fight, Yuri's first words were, "I'm sorry. I'm not happy with my performance," if you will. It's like, you just won the fucking championship in the greatest fight that we've seen in a while, and over like a vet in the game, and you apologize for that. It's crazy, man. The dude always wants to upgrade, in his words, always wanted to improve. I'm a fan of Yuri. Hopefully he can keep that championship for a while, man. Shout out Yuri Prochazka. It was a hell of a fight, dude. Anything else here, man?
Yeah, just as far as he goes, who do you think? I know you said you don't think that him and Glover run it back. So I guess as far as moving forward, who do you think is the next opponent for him?
It's got to be the winner of Ankalaev Smith, right?
Well, some people will say Jan, just because Jan had the win against Rakic.
I mean, he could, but well, let me put it this way: if there is a finish this weekend, or in the not this weekend, in the
upcoming fight,
I think that will fight for the championship. But if it's like a 5-round boring ass shit, Jan will probably get that shot.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think that fight's a 3-rounder too, because I believe it's on a pay-per-view. So, for Anthony Smith and Magomed Ankalaev. So, but yeah, I think that one's a 3-rounder. So thank goodness we wouldn't have to see 5 rounds if it does end up being a regular Magomed Ankalaev fight.
Hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. That being said, man, you want to talk about the next one? You want to talk about Valentina? I think she lost, but you want to tell me why you think she won, dude?
Yeah, I did think she won. So I thought after 3 rounds, I thought it was 2-1 Tyler Santos. I thought it was 2-1 Tyler Santos, and I thought that in that 4th round she was having a little bit of success. So apparently they said that the headbutt actually happened earlier in the fight. I don't remember it happening earlier in the fight. They said the swelling happened later, but I remember it was a quick clash of heads in the 4th round, and it was pretty immediate that her eyes started swelling once that happened. And I had messaged you as soon as it happened, and I said that headbutt changed the fight, because she literally could not.
Oh, you didn't see it. That happened at the end of round 2, the very end of round 2, like very, very
yes.
end. And then it got progressively worse through round 3, and then round 4, dude, it was like fucking awful. Round 4. I'm surprised they actually let round 4 start.
Yeah, well, no, I remember in round 4 it was really bad. See, I didn't remember in the. I thought it was like close. I thought it was in the 4th round when it happened, but man, it was like right after her eye closed at the start of that 4th round. That complete fight changed, and it took away from her mentality. Now, Tyler Santos was still a little bit conservative when it came to her striking, but just her attack overall, as far as even trying to get it to the ground, she was having good success on the ground there in the 1st and 3rd round. And then I thought that once her eye closed, I just thought it changed the fight. I thought Valentina was able to just put a little bit more pressure on, a little bit more strikes. Her strikes were a little bit more powerful, and then she was able to. I thought she was able to steal the fight 3-2. I thought she won rounds 2, and then I thought she won round 4 and 5.
Me personally, I thought it was 1 through 3. It was clear Talos Santos. I don't know. Like, I understand the rule. Like, I've read the rules now. I understand that. I thought I understood, dude. Grappling doesn't mean that much. Fair enough. But the attempt of finishing the fight is the most grappling points that you can get. Did she not have her in like a fucking backpack trying fucking rear nakeds on her round 1, 2, and 3? I don't really understand how she didn't get the nod there. I see everyone saying it. I'm clearly not the only one. DC agrees with me. There's plenty of other people that also do. So I guess it was just odd. Like, I guess personally, I think they gave her the nod for just being the champion. But that being said, dude, that 4-1, dude, that was just horrendous. That was just utter bullshit, dude. That is fucking nuts. I don't see how anyone thinks Valentina won 4 rounds of that fight. There's no way, dude. There's no way.
No, honestly, when I heard Bruce Buffer read out the score and he said 49-46,
I was like,
I legitimately thought
Santos. Santos.
I legitimately thought when I heard 49-46, it was going to be Tyler Santos, not Valentina Shevchenko. So it goes to show how much bullshit that 49-46 actually was.
It was definitely something that I was like, what the fuck, dude? But what I say last week on the podcast, though, did I not say that shit, though? I'm like, if Valentina does not put her foot on the gas, this is going to go to some bullshit split decision. Did I not say that last week?
Yeah.
And I almost feel like Valentina in the first 3 rounds, she came out like fucking Yoel Romero. Did she not that first round? I was like, it's Valentina Romero. She's just standing like this.
Yeah.
Didn't move one single bit, just standing there. It was like, she does this shit, dude. And it's like, people are surprised when her shit fucking goes to decision. And I'm like, I've been saying that. I thought Andrade had a chance to beat her because she was going to do that shit, but she like had a fucking fire lit under her for that fight for some reason. Apparently not, dude. She's just fucking willing to just do these bullshit fucking split decisions over and over, dude. And everyone thinks that she's this killer. And dude, she hasn't finished someone since the Andrade fight in a while, dude. Like, how long did Lauren Murphy last in that fight, dude? Lauren Murphy shouldn't have lasted past the first fucking round, dude. That like it pisses me off, like the bullshit that she plays in there. Like, it's like Anderson Silva against fucking Damian Maia, dude. It's like, what are you doing in there? Fight. We know what you're capable of. That's the thing. It's like we know what she's capable of, and she just doesn't do it.
Yeah, and I guess I can see what you mean to a certain extent, but it's just because I guess where she's such a true martial artist, and I think that's just what I think part of the thing with her too is that her fight IQ is so good. I think it gets in her own way sometimes because I think she overthinks in a fight as far as what she has to do. Because like every time Tyler Santos ran into her to stop Tyler Santos from grappling, she would try to do that head toss every time, and Tyler Santos kept sneaking out behind her after she would throw her down on the ground and take her back. And it was like Valentina just kept getting so frustrated, but she kept going back to the well with that over and over. And just seeing her do that, it was like her I know she was trying to assume the top position, but every time she took Tyler Santos down, she would end up losing the position. So it was like she was thinking too much as far as trying to take her down and control her, but then she would lose the position every time. So I think Tyler Santos made her just think a lot in that fight. And yeah, she is a killer, but I think it just goes to show that she's not invincible in this division either. Even though 125 is pretty dead, I guess, as far as the name value, that there's still tough fighters coming up, and that, you know, anybody can be beat on any given night. That's what the sport is.
I'm really interested to see what Manon Fuhr can do against Andrade, man. That's for sure going to be an interesting one. Hopefully we got the next contender at 125, because apparently, like, fucking Valentina's calling out Misha Tate. Hopefully she can get the dub over fucking Lauren Murphy, dude.
Yeah, that's one that they're saying that could be coming up. But other than that, yeah, you don't really see any true contenders in the division right now, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately not. So let's move on down. Let's talk about Weili versus Zhang real quick, and then let's just kind of just talk about anything else from this card before we can move on to just the rest of the show, because this is gonna be a grip today.
Yeah, I got China Garden coming up too. So
yeah. So Zhang versus Weili, man. Talk to me. What happened? Besides
man, I
exactly what I
thought
said.
I don't know if it was exactly what you had said, but no, I'm kidding. So Whaley was able to implement her wrestling early in the first round. I do think Joanna did good as far as defending herself early. Now it was the moment where I think Whaley had went for the trip again, and Joanna had like fell against the octagon, and then when you know. Wei Lee had picked her leg up in the air, and when she did, Joanna kind of ended up on her head. And when she did, that's when Wei Lee just started raining down punches. And I was like, man, and she was able to actually hold Joanna down better than what I anticipated. And Joanna even said after the fight that Wei Lee was very strong, and she didn't anticipate her being that strong. She was able to end up getting up towards the end of that first round. It's about like a minute left in the round. And then Joanna was actually able to put a couple of good combinations there at the end of the first round. And everybody was kind of getting that feeling from the first fight where they were like, man, that was just round 6 of the first fight, you know? And then there in the second round, they were getting after it again. Wei Lee went for some takedowns, missed a couple of takedowns, and then Joanna just kept kind of walking forward like a zombie. She's never really had the best of head movement, and once she stepped forward, that's when Wei Lee went to throw that step and side kick, sort of glanced her off the side. Joanna goes a step forward, and as Wei Lee's going to reset off the spinning kick, just throw the side kick, throw that spinning back fist, and just completely nails her. When she falls face first, I'm not thinking Joanna's out initially. I'm like, oh man, she's getting ready to get up and get going. But yeah, she laid there flat. And honestly, if I had, she was always one of my favorite 115ers. She was also one of those fighters, just that mean streak to her. That Carla Esparza finish, even going back to that one, it was just so nasty, that Dragon Ball Z combo she put on her. And she'll definitely be missed for sure.
Excuse me, I did not hear anything that Dorian said. My headphones decided they want to die, so I put the other one in, and that one was also dead. So I'm rocking the big voice over here. But yeah, dude, it was just, I don't want to say it was just the wrestling like that I said. I just want to point out, it's like Joanna is so willing to brawl when she's not winning, dude. And I pointed that out. It's like she's just willing to come forward and throw, even though she's getting the worst of the exchanges. And she just like, every game plan is just out the window. She just walks forward and just takes these shots. And dude, she's getting older now, and I don't want to say I saw it coming, but I really didn't see Joanna winning that fight. I just feel like her time's passed. She's been like finished a few times now. It's just done, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, she got finished against Rose, but other than that, she didn't really get finished until this latest fight. So she's taking a lot of damage over the time for sure. But to see her fall flat on her face like that, I think she also just didn't want to like be the gatekeeper of the division, having to fight the young up and comers. I think she's got a similar mentality as Daniel Cormier, as if she's not fighting for titles or not fighting for number one contender spots, she's not really interested anymore. She's got enough money outside the octagon to where she can actually step away. And man, she's definitely gonna be missed for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. She's always just a fun fighter, and now a legend in the sport, man. The longest reigning strawweight queen of all time. Until someone else does it longer, man. She is the strawweight queen. So any other fights from this card that you want to talk about, man?
It was actually a really good night of fights overall. Actually, the whole freaking pay-per-view brought it. Like as far as all the fights, even the Valentina and Santos fight, whatever. But all of them really bought it, and I would have to say just a quick mention: Jack Della Maddalena. That dude, he looks like he's going to be a problem for 170 in the future if he's able to get a little bit more of his game developed, because he started his career 0-2, and now he's on a 12-fight winning streak, and he's able to put his first two opponents in the UFC away in the first round. And that body hook that he threw, I love me some rib roasters, man. So when he threw those body hooks and got Ramazan Ameev out of there, I was like, man, this guy, he's going to be super fun to watch. So if there's anyone that kind of stood out, probably Jack Della Maddalena.
Fair enough. That being said, dude, you pointed out that one. I'm going to point out the other one on the main card, dude. Me and you were both on Andre Fiallo, and damn if Jake Matthews didn't come out with the cleanest boxing style that I've seen Jake Matthews ever have, dude. This dude threw a left hook before everything. It was like it was like a rangefinder. Left hook followed by the fastest straight. Left hook followed by a crazy uppercut. Left hook by an overhand, dude. His boxing was so clean, and he put it on Andre Fiallo. I was sad because it shit on all my bets because I did have Andre Fiallo in that fight. But Jake Matthews, dude, looked completely refreshed at 170. Still going to have some problems on the ground when it comes to Sean Brady type people, as we saw, and they did fight. But, dude, Jake Matthews striking, dude, is just dirty, dude. Just dirty.
Yeah, he looks super confident in that fight, man. So yeah, that's kind of the Jake Matthews that everybody's been waiting for. I think the schedule started to wear on Andre Fiallo a little bit. 4 fights in 6 months. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. Even if you're winning those fights, that's a lot of wear and tear and no time to really reset. But Jake Matthews, I mean, he really shined and throwing a lot of feints, and that finish sequence was just brutal, dude. To fold him like a lawn chair the way he did.
Speaking of fold him like a lawn chair, the other crazy knockout of the card. It was the second fight of the prelims. La Mavada, Sylvanas Juarez Gomez taking on Liang Na, or Na Liang, dude. Sylvana crushed her, dude. She folded her so bad. I believe she did get the knockout bonus of the night, by the way. It was, dude, she crushed her, man. She crushed her.
Yeah. And then last one, that Mahashata, the one that you said looked like Misha Tate, man, that knockout that he had, it looked just like when Stipe knocked out Fabricio Verdum. If you remember that one, the way he just stepped back and just threw that straight right, it was so clean. Steven Garcia, he got dropped earlier in the round. Guess he was getting a little bit frustrated and went to walk forward again. And as soon as he walked forward, Mahashata just caught him with the cleanest straight right and folded him, fell flat on his face just like Joanna did. And yeah, that was one that made me jump out of my seat because I was like, wow, that was spectacular.
Indeed. That being said, that was this past weekend's fights. Dude, we got to move this shit along. Yeah, we weren't even going for a while. So that being said, let's move on down to the next topic of news and upcoming fights. Kind of mentioned this one. Jessica Andrade taking on Manon Fiorot for September 3rd in Paris. We should have known that was going to be in Paris. Jason Witt taking on Josh Quinlang. I don't really know who Josh Quinlang is, but that's August 6th. We got the return of the Black Country banger, Jai Herbert taking on Kyle Nelson. And that's going to be on UFC London. They just love piling those London dudes up there together. We got Andre Fiallo taking on Lando Venado on September 17th. That's going to be a banger, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And Lando Venado is always in the banger.
They keep doing this, though, Harry Hunsucker, dude. They keep matching him up with these Samoan dudes that he gets treated as a heavy bag, man. Harry Hunsucker taking on now Tyson Pedro, dude. He's gonna get crushed again on August 20th. Brian Battle of Tough. He just now recently fought on Tough. Going to take on Takashi Sato. Just now recently lost to Gunnar Nelson. Yeah, awful fight.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah, that was the first fight back in a while, so I think he was just getting his feet wet.
And then the last one that I have before Dorian can say anything that he wants to add on here is Alan Nascimento taking on Malcolm Gordon on August 13th.
Oh, that Zabit Magomed-Sharipov. No, he's been out of the fight game for a little bit now, but he actually had officially announced his retirement today as I think he was citing health reasons. He's overcome some they said he has some like eternal health issues, like I don't know if there's like organs involved or anything like that, but apparently he's had some really deep health issues for a while that he's been struggling with, and he officially noted his retirement today. And one last thing, as I just seen it come across my news feed just real quick, and we'll move on, but Greg Hardy signing with BKFC. Thought that was pretty weird to see that, but I guess it's kind of expected considering he's more just a striker anyway. But those are the two that I really seen.
Makes sense, dude. I guess, dude, where else would he go though? Like,
he said he was going to try to box, so that's why I figured he'd try to do like some amateur boxing type shit, or maybe try to get on the Jake Paul wave or something like that. But
I think
seems
Triller
like he just wants to get right back into it.
BKFC now, so I mean, that's the only like. It's
Do they own BKFC?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought they just did business. I didn't know they owned it.
I believe they just recently bought them, like maybe last month, a few weeks ago, something like that. I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I didn't know that. So yeah, I guess that makes a lot more sense now that I'm saying that.
Yeah. So that being said, that is the news for this week, and then we're gonna talk about this upcoming weekend of fights, man. We're gonna make some new picks, give Dorian a chance to win his belt back, but the way his favorite fighters are, man, I don't see it happening this week. I think Calvin Kattar is probably going to get it done over old Josh Emmett. But let's talk about it, man. So this upcoming weekend, UFC in Austin, Calvin Kattar versus Josh Emmett is the main event of the card. Co-main event, Donald Cerrone taking on Joe Lozon. Tim Means taking on my favorite fighter at 170. You heard it earlier, Kevin Holland. Joaquin Buckley taking on Albert Duradev. Damir Ismagulov taking on Guram Kutataladze. Julian, the Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez taking on the RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Adrian Yanez taking on Tony Kelly. Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Natalia Silva. Court McGee taking on Jeremiah Wells. Ricardo Ramos taking on Danny Chavez. Maria Oliveira taking on Gloria DePaulo. Eddie Wineland going to get crushed by Cody Stamen. Phil Halls taking on Deron Wynn. I did not know he was in the UFC still. And Roman Dolidze versus Kyle Dawkins starts out the prelims for the night, man. So we got a shit ton of fights this weekend, man. We're going to pick on them. I don't know if we're going to pick on all of them, but we got a lot of them to pick on, dude. Where do you want to start at on this card, dude?
Man, there's a lot of fights. I mean, of course, my guy Adrian Yanez is back this weekend. So are you talking about as far as where you want to start on the picks? I mean, I would say, because I would imagine that we're both going to pick Adrian Yanez to win. Maybe to start with the main. Yeah, maybe to start with maybe we could just do the main card. Except for the Guram Kutataladze and the Damir Ismagulov, because I'm not familiar with either fighter.
Dude, but they're both really good. I honestly don't know who's going to win that fight.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with either or, but Julian Marquez, Gregory Rodriguez, and then the other remaining fights on the main card, I'm cool with, because that's five, right?
I'm scared we're going to pick.
Yeah, that's five.
Ones. I'm just scared we're going to pick the same.
That's five, so it's an odd. That's five, so it's an odd number. So even if we pick one different, if that one fight goes different, then we'll have a decisive winner.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. The only one that we are going to have different right now is the main event of the night. Calvin Kattar taking on Josh Emmett. Dorian is probably going to go Josh Emmett, but your boy over here, I'm going to go Calvin Kattar. dude, him against Giga, he proved that he has been back in the gym. He'd been grinding, been working, and he's shown that he can adapt over the 5-round fight. That being said, I think Calvin Kattar is just going to keep his distance, pick Josh Emmett apart over that 5 rounds. I don't think Josh Emmett is going to get close enough to be able to land that one bomb that it takes to get someone out of there. I'm going Calvin Kattar this weekend, man. Why are you going Josh Emmett?
Yeah, I'm going to go Josh Emmett, and I'm actually doing it just to be bullish about it. I do understand the physical ability of Calvin Kattar, and I know that he's going to have a pretty decent reach advantage over him. Well, he's only going to have a 2-inch reach advantage, so not that big. He's going to have a little bit of a height advantage, and Josh Emmett is a little bit older too. He's 37 in the division. You know, he's had some time off because he's had some bad injuries, but he's finally kind of getting an opportunity to fight towards the top of the division. The dude hits like a freaking truck, and even though he's a little bit older, he doesn't have as much wear and tear on him as you would say a 37-year-old would. He's still super fast. He's got really good wrestling that he doesn't even really use just because he's got really good hands. But I think he's going to try to mix it all up well. And I think if he's able to mix in the wrestling, I think he's a super strong guy. And I think he might be able to sneak away a few rounds from Kattar and maybe even sneak away. Let's say he even sneaks away the decision, because I don't think he's going to be able to finish Kattar because Kattar is just too damn tough.
Dude, I mean, but I wouldn't count out, though, dude. Fucking Josh Emmett can put out anyone at 145, man. He's for sure got that thud.
Yeah, oh yeah, he definitely does. But I think once you've seen that beating that Max Holloway put on him, and I mean that's one of those fights where that can literally change somebody's career.
No,
and for Calvin
Josh
Kattar
Emmett
to come back. Oh no, yeah, no, I'm saying as far as you're saying Josh Emmett could put Kattar out, and I'm saying that looking at Calvin Kattar, he's taking damage from some of the better fighters in the division, and him being 34, you could say coming off that Max Holloway beating that that might have been the best of Calvin Kattar that we had seen, and we weren't going to see another better version, and he ends up putting a better version together against Giga and taking his game up a notch. So I mean, I would say his chin's probably pretty replenished, taking a year off to kind of gather himself. I think he's going to be super hard to finish. The dude's just tough. Josh Emmett does have one punch power, but I think if his best path is probably going to be a knockout, but Calvin Kattar really doesn't get clean all that often except for against Max Holloway.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, interesting. So that's our first one that we have picked different one. And I guess we can do this. You think Cowboy is going to finish Joe Lozon? I think Cowboy wins via decision. Can we include that into our little thing there?
Sure. Let's
okay.
Yeah, let's do that. I do.
Cowboy should win. You think that he's going to finish him? I think it's going to be closer than what you think it is. I think Joe Lozon might win this fight. I'm going to be rooting for Cowboy. I think he gets it done by decision. You think he gets it done by knockout? Why do you think he is able to knock out Joe Lozon, man?
I think Joe Lozon, he's a guy now. He's been off for how long? He's been off for what, about 3 years? I think since COVID. He hasn't fought since 2019. Man, we've been seeing people here lately coming off of really long layoffs, coming in and not looking as good. I know that Joe Lozon has basically only been preparing for Donald Cerrone, so he's going to be prepared to fight. I just don't know how in fight shape he's really going to be. Now, Donald Cerrone's been off for about a year now, but I still think that with him being active enough, going down to 155 where he really should have been fighting all along instead of fighting at 170. I think that, with him being a little bit more active, Joe Lozon coming off the ring rust and everything, if Cowboy can kind of come off, which is going to be rare, but a fast start, I think if he can put it on Joe Lozon, I think he'll be able to get him out of there early.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just going to go the safe pick. I'm going to be rooting for Cowboy. I hope he gets it done. But, dude, at the end of the day, I got to be honest. I don't know who's going to win this fight because Joe Lozon knocked out JSP Pierce in his last fight in 2019, dude. And I'm a JSP Pierce fan. So it's kind of surprising. I don't know, man. I'm going to be rooting for Cowboy. I hope he gets it done. As I said, probably by decision. So moving on down to the next fight of the night, the Dirty Bird, one of your favorites, man, taking on Kevin Holland, dude. Tim Means versus Kevin Holland. Who you got here?
Man, I really want to go Dirty Bird. Really want to go Dirty Bird here. I do think him. I think there's going to be a little bit of you're going to see a little bit of the age difference. I do think Kevin Holland's going to be a little bit more explosive. You know, Kevin Holland's only 29 years old. Tim Means has fought, you know, a lot of tough guys. He's been in the UFC for a super long time. A veteran. I mean, he's 32-12. Like that's a pretty damn impressive record, especially for him to be in the UFC for as long as he has been. But I do think that Kevin Holland's going to be a little bit more explosive. I think he's going to have a little bit more punching power. I do think there's going to be something to watch because Tim Means is a surgical striker, and he can land like good, precise shots. Kevin Holland did get touched up a little bit in that Alex Oliveira fight in his last fight. So I do say watch out for the chin of Kevin Holland to see if this weight cut is going to have anything to do with that. But other than that, I do think unless, you know, something goes bad with the weight cut, Kevin Holland should be able to I don't know if he's able to finish him, but he should be able to get the win pretty easy.
Yeah, you got to call it here, man. You got to call it here. Is he going to finish him or not? Because this is going to decide our bets.
I said I don't think he's going to finish him. No.
All right. I don't think he finishes him. So Dorian picking Kevin Holland by decision, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going Kevin Holland by finish. I think Kevin Holland gets the knockout over the Dirty Bird. He may even sub him, man, because Kevin Holland is a black belt. People forget that. Loudmouth, the Trailblazer, Big Mouth, whatever you want to call him, he's a black belt, and he is always live for a sub. So I think he finishes him. You think he decisions him. Both going Kevin Holland, though. Let's go Trailblazer. Am I right? So Joaquin Buckley taking on Albert Duradev. Dude, this is one that I've been kind of going back and forth on. Albert Duradev only lost 3 times, but he has lost, and that shows that he can lose. And if there's someone that can crack you out of some crazy shit, it's Joaquin Buckley. He's powerful. But if I'm going to be honest here, I would have to go Albert Duradev by decision. That's just smart money, dude.
So are you going with Albert?
I would say I'm going to go with Albert, man. I do love okay. Joaquin Buckley. I hope that Buckley wins, but dude, fucking Duradev is a great wrestler, and he's boring as all fuck, but he's good at it, dude.
Yeah, I think Duraev, I do think he's going to be tough. I think Buckley sort of showed in his last fight. Now I know it wasn't, you know, the most entertaining fight from what we're used to seeing from him, but he's still young. I think he's still developing. He's only 28 years old. So I think he's still got a lot of his game that he's still sort of working out. But I do think that, you know, against Duraev, I don't know if I've really seen enough of him to really feel confident and enough in him being I think he's like a 2-1 favorite going into the fight. So, man, I'm going to go with Buckley. I think Buckley tried to get back to his old ways, you know, especially after that Abdul-Razak Al-Hassan fight. You know, it's pretty boring fight overall. I think he tries to get back on his high horse, and I think he ends up getting a knockout win.
All right, wow. So we do have a different one, man. That's kind of surprising because it's probably not the smartest pick. I'm going to be honest because apparently these two used to train together, and I think fucking Buckley like even said like, yeah, he used to fucking hold the shit out of me like on the ground, and he's fucking good at it. It's like, yeah, you kind of let everyone know which way to go there. You know, I don't know if I'm looking too much into it or not, but yeah. So those are our picks on that fight. Let's throw off the Demir Ismagulov taking on Guram Kutateladze. A good fight. Apparently Dorian doesn't know these guys.
But yeah, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with either fighter, so that's why I wasn't really too concerned with making a pick. Because yeah, I'm not really.
Fair enough. It should be an interesting one. Probably going to decision, if I'm going to be honest. But that being said, let's talk about the main card opener, dude. An interesting one. It is the Cuban Missile Crisis, Julian Marquez taking on Gregory Rodriguez, whichever way. Which way you going here, man? I already know which way you're going, but let everyone know why you're going Julian Marquez here.
Yeah, I think Marquez, man, the dude comes in, he hits super hard. And I think Gregory Rodriguez, I think he's also one of those guys. I mean, he's built like a Marvel superhero, but I think he does tend to get hit a little bit in his fights, and I think that's a bad idea to do it against Julian Marquez. I mean, we've seen him put guys out before. And I think he's got a lot of finishing ability with the submissions and the striking. I think he gets a finish either way. But let's just say, since he loves to strike and Gregory Rodriguez can get caught in a brawl, I think he ends up knocking him out.
I think it's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how Julian Marquez gets this done, but I do think that he does get it done, though. He's always live for some sort of like Darce choke, like odd guillotine. He can do that. He's always alive to knock the absolute shit out of you. I'm going Julian Marquez here as well. I'm going to say probably via decision, dude, because Gregory Rodriguez is just so damn tough. They call him the RoboCop for a reason. The dude's made of fucking absolute steel. And I don't know if it's going to end up going. I don't know how this fight's going to go, to be honest. I'm just going Julian Marquez.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wild one, and I think Julian Marquez is known for getting in a wild fight. Gregory Rodriguez as well, so it's good. It's really good matchmaking from the matchmakers on this one, and it's definitely a banger to open the card.
That being said, those are our picks this week. 5 of them. So Dorian has a chance to win his strap back this upcoming weekend, but I got to be honest, it ain't happening. My picks are a lock this week. He can be shaking his head all that he wants, dude. But before we get out of here, there are a few ones that you do want to talk about. Adrian Yanez versus Tony Kelly. Tony Kelly just recently had some heat in his the Andrea Lee versus Viviane Araújo fight, talking that schmack. And then Court McGee taking on Jeremiah Wells. That is another one that's going to be an interesting fight. And Eddie Wineland going to get crushed by Cody Stamann. Phil Hall is probably going to get. Actually, you know what? Deron Wynn versus Phil Hall. Who's winning that fight, dude? You have it gun to your head. Who's winning that fight?
I mean, it probably Phil Hall's. He's the more talented fighter, but man, I mean, he's that dude. He literally gets caught in every single one of his fights. I tell you this every time. He gets caught every single time. He's very chinny. If Ron Wynn knocked him out, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Phil Hawes is the better athlete. I think he tries to fight it smart, and he should be able to win the decision.
That is just a fight that I'm like, why are these guys even in the UFC?
I'm definitely not making that bet. That's for sure. I'm not making that bet. I'm staying far away from that fight.
Dude, Cody Stamann gonna crush fucking Eddie Wineland, yeah?
Dude, I thought Eddie Wineland was going to retire, so seeing him actually still fighting was a surprising part for me. But yeah, Cody Stamann, especially coming off that the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight, you know, he got smoked in that fight, so I think he's going to come out and look for some redemption, and yeah, he's probably going to put it on Cody Stamann.
The prelim opener, Roman Dolidze taking on the little brother of Chris Daukaus, Kyle Daukaus. I don't know what happened with the fucking Kevin Holland fight, dude. Are they just not going to run that one back, or are they just fucking moved on along?
Well, Kevin Holland's at 170. Kyle Daukaus is at 185. Oh, shit. So
that is at 185. Yeah. So
they're on separate paths now.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I actually like Roman in that fight for some reason, dude. Something just tells me fucking Roman's gonna win that one. I don't know what it is, but yeah, dude. I'm gonna let you talk about it just real quick. Close out the show. Adrian Yanez taking on Tony Kelly. How do you think this one goes down?
As you said, Tony Kelly's been having a little bit of steam coming off of that Viviane fight, where he had mentioned that what do you call her, dirty Brazilian, or those dirty Brazilian chicks or something like that. And he was pretty derogatory towards Brazilian women, and I think a lot of people are going to be tuned into this fight because they know the ability of Adrian Yanez, and I think Adrian Yanez, he came off that last fight against Davey Grant. I think he knows what it's like to be in there with someone who just won't go the hell away at all. No matter, I mean, you could literally throw a tractor trailer at him, and he will still keep walking forward. Davey Grant will. So I think he's going to know not to expend his gas tank, but I think he's going to know that he can put the pedal to the metal. Tony Kelly's a little bit inexperienced. I think he's a little bit out of his league. I think it's set up pretty good because Yanez is from Texas as well. I think they're setting him up for a pretty big KO. And I think he gets back to his vintage highlight reels, and I think he KOs Tony Kelly.
Same, man. Same. How can he not, dude? His hands are so nice, so nice. On a side note,
Yeah.
Andrea Lee sure knows how to pick them. Yeah, like she went from the dude that like had like a fucking swastika tattoo on him to now Tony Kelly that is just blatantly racist on live TV, dude. It's like Andrea Lee.
Yeah, well, it's like it's a self-reflection.
Andrea Lee's got a certain taste in men. You just have to be completely racist, and that's all you need.
Yeah, she's like, well, do you hate when you talk on the phone and people don't speak English? Well, come on over. And like, yeah, that's how she selects her men. Yeah, Andrea Lee, she's looking through, dude, and yeah, she's like, as long as you get pissed off whenever you talk to a foreign person on the phone, you're definitely a contender for me.
Dude, it's crazy, dude. I really don't not understand it, dude. But that being said, dude, that is this week's podcast. It's a grip. If you made it this far, we appreciate you watching. Remember, put a thumbs up on the video. We appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed yet and you watch this whole shit, what the hell are you doing? You should probably already subscribe by now. Catch us next week. But that being said, dude, I ain't got nothing else to say. Do you got anything else to say, man? Nope. All right.
I got some food
Matt.
waiting.
He is Dorian. This is the Golden Octagon. Remember, 3 videos per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, coming at you. That's all from us here this time. Peace.
Peace.